Thank you, Father, for truth. I know this is you doing it. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than Elijah. It's bigger than Adriana. So let's continue to endure to the end. To be saved, that's to be carried from beginning point to an ending point. So thank you, Father, for carrying me through another day. Although I don't always understand your ways and your will, I hope that I'm doing your will and continue to be persecuted for such, for pointing out this corruption with the probation department and the police department here in Lake County, and then the probation department over in Lane County with Crusher Runsman, and the hours added to Elijah's probation at month 33, which makes no sense, only 47 hours. So I'll get going here and try to again make it not too long, because every one of these, again, in my eyes, is going to be evidence. I am now facing charges myself. My son's wife is facing charges, so it's all going to continue until they either drop this case, the right to a speedy trial. I still don't have an attorney. That's nearly 14 days kept in jail, so 7 days after that. Now I've been out for 10 or 11 days or something. I don't even know what days. I'm not keeping track of the days like that. I just know that need to call in a certain day, and I'll just keep doing that until they ever drop this case, or I take it to the box, take it to trial, because for years I try to get a hold of, at least Michael Taylor, and I have record that I was having issues already with Tom Rourke. So the sheriff out here, maybe that's why Ted Martin doesn't like me, the district attorney. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I exposed that this county has more rapists, pedophiles, and murders in this county than it is the poorest county in the state. And they do release that this is a nationwide. It's not just here in America. It's done in other states. It's a way they can fund some of the poorest counties. So again, I'll get going here. I want to do this because, again, hopefully if they don't have any attorneys, then they'll go ahead and drop the case, because how can you get prepared for this big old case and then not have an attorney? So I'm still without legal counsel. I have not been contacted by the state of Oregon. I've not been contacted by the feds. I haven't been contacted by anybody. So just like before, the phone doesn't ring, nobody calls. I didn't get a call until I gave my number on May 30th, where they swatted my house and shot my house up with tear gas and shot me in the face with a concussion flashbang grenade and shot at my son. And so I've not been standing down. I've been busy. I have to continue what I'm doing out here. I can't just lay down. I'm not going to do that. That's not my nature. I've actually been calling years been trying to get a hold of Michael Taylor about the corruption going on within Tom Rourke, and then with Lily Frank back here 4 years ago, who was allowing a rapist to run around in the county, and my son was sitting in jail for almost a year. So I was pretty upset about it, and I wasn't being physically violent, but I was definitely voicing my opinion for the fact that I thought it was not right that a rapist run free, and still don't believe that to this day that Tony Karsten was ever charged with the theft, convicted. No, I believe he may have been charged, but he never was actually convicted. I know that Elijah K, W, and Tyler were, which is crazy. They never did find the fifth guy. But anyways, that started this whole case 4 years ago, where Elijah was given 36 months, 3 years probation, community service 180 hours, and he was paid 47,000 restitution amongst the, we'll say 4 or 5 guys. So I'm starting to get, calls from Elijah that he's trying to get out of here. He wants to leave. Obviously, I drug him out here to the desert. I'm the only one in this county, Lake County, and his mom, his stepdad, his uncles, his aunts, his brothers, his grandma, everybody lives over in Lane County. I'm the only loner out here, right? So anyways, I get a hold of John Caligo after going through a couple public defenders down there, and I go ahead and Elijah takes a plea agreement after sitting in jail for 10 and a half months. The rapist is allowed to run around. And again, I don't believe to this day that he's ever been convicted of that crime of theft where all these, see, if my son would have not taken that plea agreement, he probably could have got out of jail much sooner. But he wanted to see proof, take it to the box, and I wanted to actually get him an attorney that, would pull the evidence, because I was saying that I didn't want Elijah to have special treatment. I wanted equal justice. I was upset that there was 5 men involved. Well, they were all men, but this is a grown man, 41 years old. The rest of them, this was a minor at the time, teenager, and then almost just became a, not a teenager. So a bunch of kids involved with a rapist who was going around lying about his crime of rape, telling people that this woman he had raped was the his girlfriend of such, or his fiance, which really, that made me, like I said, others, I was the only one who figured out that this guy was not good. See, he had raped a woman. He served in a Texas penitentiary for 13-year prison, and then was released into this county on this program where he got to get out of jail, prison, because he wasn't in jail, but prison. My son went to jail. He came out of prison, then was released into this county of Lake County, where he got my son and these three other kids involved with this crime of theft, breaking into unoccupied buildings is what they were doing. And wasn't a robbery like he had robbed a woman high on methamphetamines. She was married, Hispanic woman. And yeah, okay. So anyways, after 13 years, he was released into this county. I ran down to Lily Frank, said, I'm on to this rat. He's lying about his crime. Why is my son sitting in jail? So she started color coding my son, which was overboard, if you ask me, because Elijah was not convicted of any drug. That's taking P tests. He was convicted of theft. So anyways, back to, it doesn't matter if he did it or not. Obviously, he's the only one to go to jail over it. So I think he did his time right there more than anybody. Almost a year in jail. Gets out after 10 and a half months. 5 months, he leaves the county after doing his terms of probation, where community service 180 hours. He wanted to leave the county. Lily Frank said, if you wanted to leave the county, you got to have all your community service done. Now, she couldn't make him pay all his restitution, but she could tell him that all his community service needed to be done. He was on what was put on, which is called felony supervised probation, where they're going to track all your movements while you're on it. So felony supervised probation is not no joke. You have to report every week. You have to make sure you do anything. If you don't do what you're told, you can get a probation violation. They're not going to let you slide. That's felony probation supervised. So Elijah is put on felony supervised probation under Lily Frank. He does all his work under Jake Greer. He's the head of probation. Zach, he wasn't actually, but one time I went in there and after Elijah had got out, and I went in there to bring him one of his probation appointments, wanted to speak with Lily Frank about all this crap that was going on. He had booked, or they had booked, Lily Frank booked Tony Karsten and my son Elijah in the same building at the same time when they had a no contact order in place, which is a bunch of crap. And I was pissed off. I was not happy about that. So, anyways, make a long story short, yeah, I can't wait till the father sees that this man brushed up against my son and tried to punk him, and Elijah stood his ground and didn't do anything. But I went in and ripped Zach's butt about it. So there's record of me going in there, telling Zach, what the hell are you guys doing in here? What kind of show you running? Where you these people have a no contact order with each other. You got them booked at the same time in the same building. So Elijah goes 5 months. He works for, again, under Lily Frank, who is obviously crazy corrupt. You could get stories about this lady that would blow your mind. He does his work under Kenny and Rodney. He gets in a black van, kind of like work crew. If you go to a prison, they go on the side of the road. They do a similar thing. They do cleanup on the side of the road. They go out to the fairgrounds. There was multiple times Elijah had worked the fairgrounds, gripe that he was just raked in the same place. Again, he was trying to get out of here, get all his stuff together, and Lily was overworking him. There was times, I believe, he did work 3 days in a row at the fire station. Multiple times, he at least worked a couple times a days in a row. And again, at the fairgrounds, he worked multiple times. So this is 2 days, more than 1 day a week. See, 5 months is only getting on the bus 1 day a week, just 1 day a week, right? 1 day a week times 8 hours in a day times 4 days a week times 4 days in a week is 32 hours. So that's where I get this 32. So 5 months times 32, that's just getting on in that van 1 day a week. That's 160 plus 20 hours to meet his terms of probation to leave. See, he wanted to, again, leave Lake County and go to Lane County where his brother and sister, no, I don't think his sisters that was up in Washington, but his mom, his uncles, his aunts, grandma, everyone, whole family's over there. So Elijah's being color-coded. I'm running down, raising, with Lily Frank saying, what are you doing color-coding him? And he's saying that, he went to the fairgrounds and he's worked 3 days at the fairgrounds. The first day he thought he was going back to the sand dunes or working on the side of the road, but he wore the wrong pants. The fire chief even spoke with recently remembers that he complained about, oh man, I wore the wrong pants, and he got paid on the first day, and he continued to wear them 2 or 3 days in a row, I guess. So after that, again, he worked with Dawn, Tom, Morgan, and the 2 females. They're saying again, I just had my house, fast forward, swatted by the state of Oregon, who stepped in without a warrant for Elijah's girlfriend, wife, which I believe to be, they have to show probable cause and have to have a warrant. You have the right to be secure in your house, papers, persons, and effects. That is the right under your 4th Amendment to be secure in that right, and then unabated warrantless search or seizure. They cannot come in without a warrant, seize your body or anything without having a warrant. They came in and arrested Elijah's wife, Adriana Massey, and took her to jail. Now, they released her the next day, but they gave her 2 felony charges for interfering with a peace officer and hindering prosecution and criminal conspiracy, I believe, which is crazy. She had nothing to do with it. I streamed for hundreds of hours. I think I streamed for probably 200 plus, maybe 250 hours, 260 hours. I think probably I streamed once in 17 days, pleading to the state of Oregon, pleading to Lake County, calling Lane County, calling the sheriff's office, calling Michael Taylor, calling Lily Frank, calling Jake Greer, calling Zach, calling Rodney, calling calling Dan Budd over here, calling Kresha Brunsman, calling Ryan Solberg, because you guys, when Elijah got over here, he did everything he was supposed to do. See, he did everything. He got in the black van 1 day a week. That's only 160 hours. There were times he worked multiple days in a week. Okay. Lily was pissed at me, tried to get him out of here. More proof that she started targeting him right away, because she was pissed off at me because I had found out about this rapist. Tony Karsten was lying about his crime. And so I was, yeah, okay. I'm going, wow, okay. This rapist is around to run around. That here he goes. He's got. I'm looking through all the charges, looking through all the evidence, and it says he's there at the location where these guys supposedly doing this. They're going in through the roof. I bring it to the Lake County's attention. There you go. He's admitted to the crime. He's a rapist. He's a felon. He needs to be his parole revoked and sent back to Texas. Why in the hell is he running around? And my son's sitting in jail. Okay, so I was not happy. Obviously, that they weren't happy that I discovered. See, if Elijah just took a plea agreement like this kid here, who was a minor, and this kid here, who was just 20 years old, it would have went away. They would have not. Nobody would have ever known about Tony Carson, the rapist. But I caught on to it. See, he was smoking cigarettes, which my son's wife at the time didn't like him doing that. Okay. And so I kept telling him, your wife don't like it. She's going to catch you doing this. She's going to be upset. And it's like, he didn't do it often. But again, I noticed he was doing it with that guy. That's where the cigarettes were coming from, because this guy was buying them for him. See, at one time, I didn't want unequal justice. I wanted equal justice. I'm like, why is my son in jail? The rapist is out of jail. These guys all smoke cigarettes. And Tony, the guy that's the rapist, is the one buying them for him. If my son's involved in all this, you'll find his DNA on that cigarette butt. They found a cigarette butt, but it never did have Elijah's DNA on it. So anyways, John Kligo is the attorney. So John Kligo is very aware of this case. We'll just put that. I wonder how many calls, does John know about the whole case and remembers this case as well? Because I went to John complaining about this rapist, and that was the whole reason, again, why I wanted John to make sure that Elijah got equal justice, didn't have to pay all $47,000. Why was the only one in jail? So he ended up getting out of jail. He does all his time. He gets on the bus 1 day a week, 5 months, one time. That's 4 months, 4 days, 4 weeks in a month, times 8. That's 32. That's 160. He gives him 20 hours short. There's multiple times he worked 2 and 3 days a week. His 180 hours completed. He left in 5 months with no probation violations. No probation violations. He gets to Lane County, no probation violations. Month 6, it says nothing about doing any kind of community service in his action plan. This is what they give people. Anybody goes on probation, doesn't matter if you're on misdemeanor or felony probation, they give you an action plan or talk to you about checking in later, especially when you're on felony supervised probation, to give you, like, let's say you get in a fight at the bar and you beat each other up or something. You both get assault charges. You're going to have some anger management or something on your action plan. That'll be there. They fill it out. It's all done. See, I call this analog and Stone Age. I think about Neanderthal probation, but that's the problem. You see, they say Elijah didn't do any of these hours. He didn't find out this until actually month 33. But we're going to go back to month 6 here. Yeah, at month 33. But hold on, we'll go back to month 6. No probation violations. No, hey, Elijah, you have hours that you didn't complete. Everything was done. I actually called John Kligo. So we're going to put that call right there too, that I called the attorney to facilitate John. And then I also called Lake County probation, called them. So my phone call will be recorded and it will be evidence that I called and said, hey, I spoke with my attorney and I'm supposed to document all these hours. I want to make sure Elijah has all his hours so he can leave the county. He's trying to leave from Lake to Lane. I wasn't totally happy about that, but whatever. There's a lot more people, a lot more chance for him to get in trouble, but he didn't get in any trouble. So he made me look kind of foolish because obviously he didn't get a probation violation until month 42. Well, I'm getting way ahead of myself again here. Month 42, what are you talking about? But anyways, okay, so month 5, he leaves Lake County, comes to Lane County, checks in with probation. They help facilitate. The two talk to each other, Lake and Lane. The terms of probation from Lily Frank was that he had to complete all his community service before he could leave Lake County. That's obviously the county was trying to get all their money out of him, get all their work out of him that they could before he transferred over to the other county. See how corrupt this county is already? Okay, so but anyways, Elijah completes the terms of his probation, no probation violations. I call Elijah. Elijah calls me at month 17. around here calls me, we have a phone conversation, more than one phone conversation about Elijah. Good job over there. I'm glad that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're coming up on halfway. You can ask for what is called an early release of probation. If you've not gotten any probation violations, gotten any trouble, and committed any other crimes, you can get off early at halfway through. Okay, but you need to check with Ryan Solberg, which he did. He checked with Ryan Solberg. He talked with Ryan Solberg, which is his probation officer over here, about getting off early. Ryan said, yep, you can get off early. All your community service is done. Nothing was ever said on his action plan. It was never made to, at this point in time, he hadn't paid his restitution because some of this was going to be covered, potentially almost most of it was going to be covered by homeowner insurance. Not all of it, but some of it. So anyways, he hadn't paid any money on his restitution at this point. So I called John Caligo again. This is an evidence. This is the state of Oregon failed to do any of this homework before they came and swatted my house. And I'd already tried to take care of this stuff and stream for hundreds of hours trying to get the state of Oregon after they had drove by my house, be doing the telephone, hey, and I have it on my live stream that the state of Oregon drove on my property. I didn't shoot at them, but I said that, but I said on the stream, they eventually came back and shot me in the face with a concussion grenade, the flashbang. I live in a cabin that's 40 feet long. It's not a huge cabin. It's not a tiny little cabin, but they ended up, shooting 5-6 tear gas canisters. One made the house fill up with tear gas, 5 or 6. Obviously, they had an ulterior motive that day. I want Adriana released from her charges immediately. I'm going to keep saying this. That is a demand. Now, you got demanding last time they swatted your house, Tracy. Whatever. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That is the sword of division that divides, where one believes, the other does not. So it's not some physical thing. It's about, I know that what I believe is 100% correct. I know Elijah completed all his. Elijah would have gotten probation violation. If Elijah didn't show up being on felony supervised probation, if he didn't show up to community service, he would have gotten especially by Lily Frank, who was piss tested and color coded, he would have gotten a probation violation. So he didn't get any in month 6. Month 18 comes. I call John, the attorney, and say, hey, look, I can't figure it out. Looks like Elijah's getting screwed like he did get back here. Looks like they're wanting to pay all $47,000. It doesn't look like any of these guys have paid anything on this restitution. So what do I do, John? He said, at this time, Tracy, some of it homeowners insurance, and there's different laws that cover who, and okay, well, divided by 5, it would have been 10 grand, rounded up by like $600 or something, 10K. Well, just to let you know, I just got out of jail. They have 7 days. You have the right to remain silent, which I recommend that you use that right and you don't say anything, because anything you say, and trust me, they will use everything you say against you. So go ahead, use it against me if you will. In all the state of Oregon, okay, and under that right, that's not just the Oregon, okay, but that's your right to an attorney. You have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, will be appointed to you. And if they cannot give you an attorney or legal counsel, they have to release you after 7 days, okay? They have to release you after 7 days. They can't keep you in jail any longer than that. They have to provide you some kind of legal counsel or an attorney. The state of Oregon and Ted Martin and the judge kept proof of targeting right here. Probably the biggest mistake this county and this state made. Now, the Oregon State Police didn't make this mistake. They made the mistake of showing up here and saying that they had a warrant for Adriana's arrest. And I showed you on it, it does not have her name on that arrest warrant, which is illegal. Okay, so they have to show probable cause. So you're going to charge somebody with 2 felonies and a Class A misdemeanor. I think you'd show probable cause before they knew exactly where she was at. Okay, so either way, they kept me, guys. I told them that I have no prior convictions. I am an honorably discharged veteran. I pay my taxes here in Lake County. You know, I had people tell me, "Are you serious? They're not letting you out. You own land. You pay taxes here. You're an honorably discharged veteran, and you got no prior criminal history, and they're keeping you more than 7 days. Yeah, that's targeting, man. Yeah, that's crazy." Even Elijah's attorney, who will put down here is Spencer, Dan Spencer. Okay, that's to be questioned now. Whatever, it is what it is. I don't even. Whoa. Okay, but anyways. Dan Spencer stands in as my attorney, which is illegal, okay? And then there's Mark Costello. There's only 2 prosecuting attorneys down here. Lake County is the second largest county in the state of Oregon. Lane is the, I think that's it. Doesn't matter. Spelling's not for so. I tell them, hey, I got animals that are running around. You know, you guys knocked over all my fences. You shot out my windows. You tear gassed me. You tear gassed my animals. I have little kittens in there. My dogs are in there. As far as I know, you know, they could still be in there. I don't know if they're dead or alive. No, whatever. I was arrested because for interfering with a peace officer, hindering prosecution ×2, and criminal conspiracy, 3 felonies. Criminal conspiracy ×2. Interfering with the peace officer, hindering prosecution ×2, hindering a peace officer, and criminal conspiracy. So 3 felonies and a misdemeanor. So, but anyways, that'll be years before this county can take this. You know, I have the right to a speedy trial. And they can, no way they could get this case of this list together of all these people, because I've got more that are on this list that deals with Tom Rourke and other, you know, people that are a part of this targeting. It's not just me that's being targeted in this county. There are other people in this county that are being targeted. But proof of targeting, they don't keep me for 8 days. That's illegal. Elijah's attorney stands in for me. My son's attorney, who is arrested, and also his wife was arrested. And my son was shot. I was shot. You can watch the video. You can see they shot me in the face with a flash concussion grenade. It actually didn't hit my face, guys, but it hit it right next to it hit the screen. I was right there, and it was that close to my face, which it did. Exploded right in my face. Now my vision is burnt. I have my retina's burnt. I have issues. I'm having headaches. I've never had headaches ever in my life, maybe 1 or 2. My hearing's weird. I hear weird, different tones that I've never heard. It is what it is. So Elijah's attorney stands in and says, look, you better let this guy out of jail. You know, even Klamath County under the 7th Circuit court ruling, you know, is it? No, I think it's the 9th Circuit. What am I thinking? Under the 9th Circuit ruling, okay, you have to let this guy out, you know, irregardless if some of this is up in question. If you keep him more than 7 days, that's illegal. You have to provide him some kind of counsel, an attorney, a public attorney, you know, a public defender. And so the next time I come in there, I think I'm at day 10 or something like that. He says, I'm standing in for the Constitution. So Elijah's attorney is standing in for me, which is illegal. Again, he stands in for the Constitution. He starts reading all these readings and says, look, you're blowing it. This guy can come back and sue you. You're going to ruin the case. You know, this all can hinge on this. You know, you got to let him out. So the judge says, I see the judge, and I see him on Friday. You guys can't remember which day this was. I think that was Friday. And he says, oh, no, I'll let you. I'm like, I got animals running around. It's hot. He says, you'll be out Monday. You'll be out Monday. So on Monday or Friday comes, and he doesn't let me out, and he keeps me till Monday. Monday comes, and he says, and Ted Martin, proof of Ted Martin targeting me. This is all mainly Ted Martin, who signed off for this SWAT raid on my house and special weapons tactics, you know, special techniques, and you say they use all their stuff that they had. Boy, they came out with multiple armored vehicles. I mean, a waste of resources, a ton of money. Just shot my house up, shot my son, shot me, took his wife to jail without a warrant, no probable cause. Didn't state any probable cause on her. I was asking for them to state the reason why they were here, Either way, brothers, sisters, he doesn't let me out. Proof that Ted Martin is targeting me right there. This man should be put in jail right there. Ted Martin, the district attorney, should be put in jail right now. He should be going to that jail that he's put me in because he kept me for 14 days, guys. 7 days is the law. He kept me in there for 14 days, 7 whole more days than he is allowed to. And I think right now that should be proof of targeting right there. Okay, but we'll get back to my son's case. So anyways, yeah, seriously, I just got out of jail here, was it like 10 days ago, and I still don't have any legal counsel. They still haven't contacted me. Said, "Oh, hey Tracy, let's just let this thing go. We really kind of we screwed this up pretty bad. First of all, we issued a warrant for your arrest when you're Henry prosecution. Well, hell, you've been calling for years trying to get us to come out and help you figure out why our elected sheriff will not call you and why the deputy sheriff is probably." More involved in more criminal activity than most people are locked up in the jail in down there. Okay. His wife has a habit. He's seen doing things that are, there's been sheriffs out here that have disappeared. Okay. I think this Ted Martin is part of all of this. He was running for re-election when he was, all this was going on with my son back there. So either way, we're going to get to month 18, my son says, "Dad, can you help me out?" And I said, "Son, I'll call John. We'll see. I can't pay $10,000, Elijah. I can't pay 47, and I can't pay 10,000. So I just bought some land." And so at this time, his probation officer, Ryan Solberg, makes him start paying restitution. Okay, so you're going to see that on his action plan. You're going to see that he's paying restitution at this point. No, at no time, no probation violations. So this is Elijah puts his head down, does what he's supposed to do, okay, and continues on. Now, month 33 comes. Now, guys, I'm still the COVID's out now, and I want Michael Taylor to come down there, the elected sheriff. Not the first time they flattened the curve, but the second time, and stand with the small businesses out here, stand with Kathy, run OSHA off. I reminded him of the Bundy standoff where that elected sheriff has more authority than the feds to run him off, gave him all this, held protest in front of across from the police department. Held protest. Did you hold any protests across from police department during the COVID? Did you stand with your local businesses? Did you try to make a difference? Hey, we'll be the only one in the nation. Let's do this. Let's go for this, guys. Let's be that only town ship. Let's be that go around and find out kind of town. But it's actually the law out here that's the problem. It really is, guys. So I hold, protests across from the police station. They get pissed at me. I'm putting out memes. They're so pissed. Month 33 hits. Elijah said he's got 3 years probation, 180 hours community service, 47,000 restitution, split between. However, he can't pay it. He gets all the way to month 33, and they tell him, "Elijah, you have 133 hours of probation that you did not complete in Lake County. And before you can get off in the next 3 months, you have to." They put this on his action plan, right? Nothing is said about this. Nothing is said about this for 33 months with no probation violations, guys. See, they're pissed at me. Proof that they're targeting now my son, and they tell him he's got 133 hours of community service he didn't complete back here before he left the county, and that was the terms of his release. So I get on the phone, and I call Ryan Solberg. I get a hold of Lane County probation. I actually, after getting nowhere with them, I go ahead because I'm a military vet, right? I'm a veteran, chain of command. You know what that means? Like you gotta, even though the captain's got an open door policy, you need to go talk with your sergeant first before you just go walk in his door. That sounds all nice and dandy. Old captain's got an open door policy. You come in and talk to me anytime you want. You better go talk to your sergeant first. Talk to the first sergeant, talk to, somebody before you go talk to the captain, okay? But I can't get anywhere, okay? So I go ahead and I call the head of probation, Pressure Brunsman, and I have multiple phone conversations with her. I have multiple phone conversations, probably 3 or 4, where I actually got to talk to her and let her know this whole thing. And I said, you know what? I think these people are corrupt back here. You know, I know your probation, but hey, look, I'm a vet. I don't need to jump my chain of command. But then actually no calls. No, she won't return my call anymore. And I start calling her again and again and again. I've called her multiple times, guys. I probably called this woman 30, 40, 50 times. You know what I'm saying? And this is the head of probation. I'm like, look at it. What the hell is going on here? That means Elijah had only done 47 hours. He'd only done 47 hours. And Lily Frank would have given him a probation violation. He didn't get no probation violations. He still doesn't have any probation violations. What the hell are you talking about, lady? You need to call this as a clerical error. I'll be nice. I know I'm excited here, but hey, this is just out of control. How could you sit here and tell my son he came over to your county? You guys communicated with each other. Lake and Lane, that was the terms of his release into your county, was that all his community service was completed, and now you're telling me he's only completed 47 hours? He would have given a probation violation. This is a bunch of crap. Get this taken care of, lady. I'm not happy about this now. You know, why would you do this to my son? He could have got off probation back here if he could have paid off his restitution. You can't hold that against him now. You could give that, put that to a credit agency, but you got to let him off at 36 months. This is a bunch of crap. You know, I've called over there. I've called Lake County probation office, and I'm not getting anywhere. Okay. Now remember, I'd already called them and asked them about Elijah being released out of the county, and I have phone records that I called Lake County probation after calling my attorney. These are phone documented things that'll be a part of my case before they can ever take me in front of a magistrate judge and judge me. No way, not a chance. I will make sure all this is seen. As a matter of fact, I might ask the courts to represent myself. And nobody knows this case better than me. Okay, I've represented myself when I was going to try to get my son, custody of my son, when he was not in a good situation. And it is what it is. So, and the judge said he thought I did a better job than the last 2 attorneys that I had. So either way, brothers and sisters, what I'm trying to show you is that, so Elijah at 36 months, he doesn't get these 133 hours completed. Now, keep in mind, these are given to him at month 33. And they said to get off, so his probation wasn't extended for a violation. His community service, he had no probation violations, and it wasn't no crimes. He didn't convict no crimes, convicted no crimes. He had no probation violations, and he completed all his community service hours. So they tell him at month 33, you've got 47 hours, right? And that you need to complete 133, right? Which would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 180, right? So he'd only done 47 hours is what they're telling him, right? So either way, I tell Crusher Brunsman, get a hold of these people. I can't get anywhere with it. I've called multiple times now, again and again and again and again and again, and they don't return my calls. I call her again and again and again and again and again and again. Now she won't even return my calls. I've actually called Dan Budd probably dozens of times. I've spoke with Ryan Silver, called him multiple times. I've called Lily Frank multiple times. I called Dan Spencer, but he hangs up on me because he was Elijah's attorney. So he's supposed to do that, but he did stand up me so court. So what they do is they decide to add 12 months to Elijah's probation, giving him 48 months. 48 months total. Adding now they don't give him more hours. They say at this time, Elijah spends his first 3 months trying to document back with Lake County, calling Lake County, doing whatever he's supposed to do. And because he does it, they extend his probation for 12 months, which is a bunch of crap. Elijah should have been on probation at month 36. I don't care. There's nothing. He did exactly with no probations. Anything over that, any more hours is extortion. It's an indentured servant to the probation system. It's absolutely corruption. It's targeting because they're pissed at me that I was standing up against this rapist, standing up against the county. Most people just lay down and take it in this county. They're known for being very heavy-handed, and this town is known for having the corruption, and this sheriffs are being very heavy-handed. I called the owner land sale network, Jesse, and he said that organically out of his own mouth that the law is the people are afraid of the law in this town. That's not the way cops are supposed to be. I'm a prior veteran, a prior law enforcement and military police, and that's not how law enforcement people used to look up the law enforcement officers. So anyways, Elijah starts working. He's still trying to get a hold of. He works for Food for Lane County. He starts working for the Sherman Center for Officer Black, Sheriff Dumar. Okay, he works. Dan Butts, he's under keeping track of his hours. Ryan Solberg's his probation. He goes to work for Food for Lake County. He's done after hours for the food kitchen. He's working for the grassroots garden. Elijah does all these hours. I can show you, and I have one on this stream, that on October, yes, I will. I have to, because I have to do it. On October 5th of 2023 at 7:19 a.m., Crusher Brunsman, the head of probation, contacts Elijah and says, "Hello, I've contacted Officer Black at the Sherman Center, and he's informed me that you have 23 hours complete in your community service, leaving a balance of 30 hours owed." So if you had a loan for $100 and you paid 50, the balance is 50. You'd have to pay more 50 before your loan was paid off. So it's a little hot in here today. It's 97 degrees. So from the head of probation, October 5th, for evidentiary purposes, 2023 at 7:19 a.m., Kresha Brunsman, EETJE, Golf Romeo Echo Echo Tango Juliet Echo. Okay, Brunsman, this is her email. If you want to contact her and say, "What are you doing to this? You just extorted this guy, and he will come back eventually, and you should lose your job. You should never work community service again." Mr. Werner, hello, Mr. Werner. I have contacted Officer Black. Whoa. At the Sherman Center. Okay, she's informed me of the hours completed, informed me. So I want to get down here. Let me put these down and I won't keep doing that. So I got something else in my hand. So it says, you have a balance of 30 hours owed. Community service. Leaving a balance of 30 hours owed. So this was back on October 5th of 2023 at 7:19 a.m. Elijah's done at least 100 hours since then, guys. So Crusher Brunsman should be put in jail, okay? So should Michael Taylor, so should Ted Martin, especially Ted Martin. The guy's got a hard on for me. Let me in jail for 14 days. Let's put that up there. You know what? It is what it is. Remember that? 14 days. Proof of targeting. Gee, you think he's got money on his mind? Every day he keeps me in jail, he gets paid. The law says you can only keep me in jail for 7 days. 7 days without an attorney. You can't give me one, then you gotta let me out. And he kept me in there for 14 days. Ted Martin. So again, they tell Elijah, they tell him at month 42, they tell my son, because he has 48, which means he has 12 full months to complete these 133 hours, which is a bunch of bull crap, because he already did the 180 back here. Okay, and I think he even did more than 180, but we're not going to get into that. Okay, they say he's got 133 hours. Okay, you see on October 30th, or October 5th, they said Elijah has 30-hour balance. Elijah, he had already started working for the Sherman Center. Again, they said at one point in time, oh, you got You got 85 hours. Then they told him you got 98. He still kept doing the work. Then they're like, oh, you got 55 hours. You guys, they kept telling him differently. And I told you on October 30th, he said he had a balance of 30 hours owed from the head of probation. That comes from the head of probation. Okay? That comes from the head of probation. So I know Elijah has done at least probably 120 plus hours plus these 180, which means Elijah's done at least 300 hours. For every hour that he worked, they owe Elijah money. They really do. And I'm not into that because right now, I don't know exactly what's going on with my son. I just paid $10,000 that I couldn't pay in restitution to get him out of jail, to get my son out of jail. I got him out of jail last time when he got in trouble. This time, it's not his fault. He did everything he was supposed to do. At month 42, they told my son, we don't think you're going to complete these hours. So we're going to give you a probation violation and we're going to put you in jail. Crusher Brunsman could have put him in jail for 1 day. Minimum, 3 days maximum. Elijah sat in jail for 3 days, which I think is a bunch of bull crap again, because he was given 48 months, which means he has 12 full months to complete those supposed 133 hours. So at month 45, they revoked his probation. This is proof of targeting. They revoked his probation and issued a warrant for his arrest. And I called Crusher Brunsman, the head of probation. I said, if you think you can issue my son a warrant for his arrest again, you already violated his probation when I already told you. I called you before, and remember, I told you I wasn't going to go away, Crusher. We had already spoken in the past. I asked you to take care of this, Crusher. I'm letting you know right now, before you ever issue this warrant for my son's arrest or put him in jail again, I'm telling you, I will take him and I will arrest his body and I will bring him to where I am at, and I will not let you have him because you have already kidnapped my son by putting him and giving him a probation violation. He has 12 full months to complete this, and you're threatening him at month 42. This is bullshit, guys. And I apologize. I went the whole stream without cussing, but I did. I apologize. Why? He should never even been given the extra 12 months. But once he did the 12 months, he started doing the working at the Sherman Center, doing it. He worked at least 120, and I think he did even more because they won't do it. They eventually said at the end that he had 55 hours complete, and then they wouldn't revoke his probation or whatever. He was down there working with his wife, who worked 5 days a week at a full-time job, plus she was going and signing her name up, working next to my son, volunteering her own time, working 7 days a week, and they fucking arrested her. Are you serious, Lake County? You arrested her and you didn't even put her name on the warrant. That old lady was working 7 days a week trying to support her husband so he can get out from underneath this crap. Yeah, she's going there too. She's volunteering her time and he's doing his time. What a bunch of crap, guys. And then they only gave him 25 hours. So they said that Elijah was short 30 hours. Wait a second. Isn't that the hours that Crusher Brunsman said that he only owed 30? You guys, can you see what's going on here? This is insanity, guys. So on May 30th, after 17 days of live streaming, having the state of Oregon drive by my house, me throwing up, call me. Why won't you call me? Somebody call me. What about Elijah's 180 hours? On May 30th, the police swatted my house. They had a celebratory dinner the night before in this little tiny town. Went and bragged about it. The local sheriffs were all big dinners. We're all getting ready to go. You know, my place looks like an old, movie set, like Hogan's Alley. They're just going to come ransack the place, come shoot us up. I think they had different intentions that morning, guys. I really do. I think that, brothers and sisters, look, They were here less than a minute. I had just fallen asleep. I'm telling you, I was only asleep 15 minutes. Oregon State Police. I hear, hello? Okay, well, whatever. So I go up to the door. Elijah, are you okay? I mean, they were here for less than a minute. Guys, 45 seconds, and bam, they shot me right in the face with the concussion, the flashbang grenade. I go back in the house, start, what's going on here? Show you guys the board. I can't, you guys have to watch the stream, okay? The live stream's a 16-minute live stream. It's probably 15 videos back or something. I've been live streaming every day. A couple days I haven't because I've been doing other things and getting other things prepared out here. I'm trying to get land sold, guys. I need to get, funding for all three of us need an attorney. And as of right now, I don't even have an attorney. Adriana does not have an attorney. And they didn't even have on the arrest warrant. They don't even have her name on the arrest warrant, guys. It's ridiculous. I don't know why, but only by God's will why this hasn't been picked up and gone, nationally and alternative. I don't know. I'm exposing the fact that they don't have enough attorneys to prosecute throughout the state of Oregon. When I call my attorney, again, John Kaliga, who I've called him multiple times, again, guys, called him about the 18-month, called him at 36 months, whatever, called him again. And he said, oh, Tracy, hey, there's a problem in the state of Oregon right now. There's not enough prosecuting attorneys. I said, I know, John, I'm falling under this same crap. I just got out of jail after 14 days. They're supposed to keep me for 7. They only kept me, they kept me 7 extra days. It's a big problem. It's Klamath County's releasing every other, Lynn County, Deschutes County, Marion County, all the counties are letting people out right now in 7 days because they don't have enough prosecuting attorneys. They only have 2. I've been out of jail. What is it today, guys? It was May 30th they took me to jail. So I was in jail for 14 days, and it's the 24th today, so 10 days. I've been out of jail for 10 days, and they still haven't called me and said, hey, Tracy, we have legal representation for you. Because good, I'm saying, I'm going to take you to the box. You better get your ass to work. You already the right to a speedy trial, and you have 90 days. You better get to cracking because every day that they don't provide me legal counsel, you think an attorney can summons all these people? Remember Dawn, Tom, Morgan, the 2 females? These are eyewitnesses. Elijah did this. How about you ping all their phones? I want every one of their phones pinged. Okay, I don't care. We'll double it up. I want Kenny. I want you to talk to Kenny, Rodney. Talk to Jake Greer. How many times did I call him? How many times did I call Kenny? I want all my phone calls. All my phone calls to Rodney. How many times I call Zach? Okay, how many times I call Lily Frank? How many times I call Tom Rourke? How many times I call Ted Martin? How many times I call Michael Taylor? That's what this stream was called. How many times I call? How many times I call Crusher Brusman? How many times I call Ryan Solberg? How many times I call Dan Budd? You guys, I have called how many times I call the state of Oregon? I called the FBI before. I called the federal government when I was trying to expose this police corruption and probation corruption. Yeah, I have did it on the live stream. If you want to watch it, like 2 streams ago, recorded. The lady said, Susan, when we don't police the duty officer, we don't police ourselves. So you'll have to call the state of Oregon. I called the state of Oregon over this before any of this ever transpired. I called about the corruption, about the targeting and the corruption in this county already. See why I don't get anywhere, guys? Because when you expose these people, they won't help you. Now they just came in and swatted my house. I still don't even have windows for my house, and that's like the last of my worries. I need an attorney. I need to get my son an attorney. He's facing going to prison. He was already facing going over to prison. Even before any of this stuff happened with the whole, go to get Adriana a shower, which there was no speeding. Elijah didn't speed. Then Elijah didn't do anything. Never pursued Elijah. They never even asked for where Elijah was at. Never even said a word. So that's not whatever their whole interfering with a peace officer. What? Because I'm telling them to stand down because I don't want my son to get ass raped by some guy who can't keep some cock to himself in prison. that happens in some prisons. You know, not all prisons are nice, you know. So yeah, they divide people up by, you know, races and things like that. It's not some walk in the park. Okay. So sure, I'll step in front of that cock. That's what I was doing. And I'm sorry to be rude with you, but this is an evidentiary stream for whoever's watching this, the jury, the judge. Yeah. Would you stand in front of your son's asshole getting violated by some man's, you know, penis who can't keep him to himself because he's been locked up and he's fresh meat on the block? No, he already done his hours. Okay. Michael Taylor, he needs to go to prison. Tom Rourke needs to go to prison. Ted Martin definitely needs to do time. Why in the hell did he keep me for 7 extra days? Proof of targeting right there. I rest my case. I want all charges dropped against me. I want all charges dropped against Adriana. I want all charges dropped against my son. He should have already been off of probation. If I just had 10 grand, man, I could have got him off right here. He had no probation violations at 36 months. If he owes any more money on restitution, put it on his credit report. You can't keep him on probation any longer. I'm demanding that the state of Oregon contact Ted Martin. Ted Martin, contact me. One of you contact me. It's all got to go through Ted Martin. Stand down, Ted Martin. You're going to take me to court. You're going to be the prosecuting attorney or the district attorney. Actually, you're not running for re-election, so you probably don't even care but I'm still going to go after. I will personally sue you, Ted Martin, if you are not in office by the time that I take this to the box and your county does not stand down, because I can already prove that you targeted me right there. Right there. That's the worst thing you're ever going to do is get me another day. Ted Martin, district attorney, under this Lily Frey, all this proof. What you should have done. I'm going to tell you how to do your job, Ted Martin. You should have let me out in 7 days. If you wanted this case to ride, you should have let me out 7 days. But me screaming for hundreds of hours and years in advance of this targeting and corruption with the state of Oregon and with Lake County, okay, and Lake County with Kresha Brunsman, Ryan Solberg, Dan Budd, Officer Black, Sheriff Dumar, I guarantee you, all this writing this stuff down. No, you didn't do any of that. You didn't do any of that. You didn't do none of that. You didn't do none of that. I don't want to hear it. This is how probation works now. It's all written down, just like that. See? No, you didn't do that. We just erased that. Nothing's done digitally, guys. You know, like Elijah, he came down during the storm, during the ice storm. He was the only one to show up. Nobody else showed up. Elijah's the only one to show up. You ever heard of this? This is something brand new. Not a thing. This is like, we're going to reinvent the wheel here. Watch this. It's called Android probation. You ever hear of that? Android probation? Or not about take a bite out of the apple, right? Here, that's not a very good apple. We could make a better apple than that, right? Remember, who's got an Apple phone? I've never had an Apple phone, right? Take out a bite out of the apple, right? Oh, wait, that's the wrong color. Oh, wait, it's not Apple, it's iPhone. My bad. Okay, so iPhone, that's what it is. iPhone probation, what do you know? iPhone probation. Yeah, we actually hold these probation officers accountable. Like Dan Budd, who said, oh, hey, Elijah, thank you. You're the only one to show up during the ice storm here. So now you see on your phone, right, that it says that your hours are coming in, right? Right? Oh, now you got 181 hours. Extortion. Okay, thank you. All right, I got an Android phone. I see it. No, I don't see it yet. It hasn't showed up yet. Okay, well, hold on. I don't know. Maybe the internet's a little slow from that. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. I got it. Now I got my 181 hours. Now I can sue the hell out of you. You guys, I'm going to finish this up, okay? It's hot. I need to take a break here. I'm going to try to keep this under an hour. Much love. There is links in the description. You know, an attorney, you're probably talking about $100,000 worth of attorneys for all of us. So I don't have near that money. I need to come up with $3,600 to pay off the 5 acres that I have here in Christmas Valley, and I will be going in getting counsel with that money, either for myself, my son, or Adriana probably first, because I think she needs an attorney as of right now first. She better not take a charge. She didn't do anything. She's not involved in any of this. Her name wasn't even on the warrant. So if you do want to support this cause, I'm a man that's being targeted. My son's being targeted. Elijah Werner, I'm Tracy Werner. This is my testimony of what has happened to me over the last 4 years because I've stood up for my son. I now have felony charges, 3 felony charges, because I stood up and did not allow my son to be arrested. I kept him from being arrested, and I brought him to my house here in Lake County, where he had done his original probation, road crew, community service, work crew. I don't care what it's called. He did all his time. That was the terms of his release. So I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. I don't get veterans benefits. I'm a veteran. Never gotten a dime from veterans, from the military. I don't get Social Security. The only way I do it is I work like I'm doing today. I'm working on the Rusty Dragon so that I can rent those cabins out. I got some more things up for sale today on the internet. I have 20 some things for sale on the internet. I'm trying to come up with $3,600 to get funds for the land, to pay the land off, because that land will probably sell pretty quickly. It's very popular spot in this town, and it's right on the road. There's power. It's a 5-acre parcel. I'll probably sell it for $25,000. So I've decided to sell the 20-acre parcel. I have the deed to that one, so I can sell that one immediately. I'll be probably putting that up for under market value for probably right around 40,000. I have a tractor trailer on that. I might consider leaving for an additional price. That's right around $2,000 an acre. Some of the cheapest land in the country. A lot of people don't get messed with by the cops out here because obviously they don't point out the targeting, the police probation targeting. I'm a veteran. I speak up, and that's what I do. So it said defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It doesn't matter if it says honorable discharge on my DD 214. That doesn't end my tour service. There's domestic enemies on the homeland. It's called Ted Martin, Lily Frank, Tom Rourke, Jake Greer, all these people who are involved in here, Kresha Brunsman, Ryan Solberg, all these people should not be working in a community service and a public servant. So if you want to help, there is links in my bio for CashApp and for PayPal. I haven't received any donations since I've gotten out on this. And that's okay. It is what it is. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. So I got a couple super chats, but no donations through my PayPal or donations. I haven't even monetized any of the videos, guys, because I feel like I want this to be separate. I don't want to say I'm trying to make money off this. If somebody wants to leave a donation or something because they have the ability to, I have the Cash App, I have the PayPal. I won't be spending any money on me. It will go towards my son's attorney or my probably his wife's first, I imagine. So I've already gave up $10,000 worth of gold and silver that I had, okay, to get my son bailed out of jail. So I spent what I had, guys, and I'm trying to sell the land that I have to do it. So I don't have to ask anybody for help, but I can't be prideful. I got to do what I have to do. I'm hoping that some alternative, media channel will pick it up and it'll go mainstream. This is a huge story. It would be a huge, huge story. I know that I called the second or third largest attorney in the state, or in Bend, Oregon, which is it's one of the largest cities. I think the second largest city. And they said they didn't have the bandwidth to do this case. So it's a big case. And so it's going to take, I need at least secure attorneys for now. So if you can help out, great. And if not, I appreciate your time. And it is an evidentiary stream. 5 times 32 equals 160. Obviously, Elijah worked on the fire station a few days in a row, wore the same pair of pants with the paint on them. Witnessed Chad, the fire chief, witnessed him, went out and raked the same spot, called me, Dad, we raked the same spot over and over again. We're not even doing it. I'm like, do what you're told, son. So I'm down there speaking with Lily Frank. So I was involved from the get-go. And I guess that's why I'm
whatever. It is what it is. I could have just taken that $10,000 in gold and silver, like my son told me, Dad, don't keep that for me. I know you're keeping. I don't like gold. I'll get my own silver and go buy that truck that you want. Go on the road, Dad. I know you've been trying so hard to go on the road and get out from underneath the homestead out there. Nobody ever came out there for 10 years. Your heart's broken. It's in pieces. And you're just trying to, Dad, I love you, man. Just sell that gold and silver so you can go do what it is. Dad, I love you. I won't be mad at you if you just go on the road and you just come by and visit me every once in a while, Dad. I'm sure you can get somebody to help you. And I didn't do it, guys, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it was the money that was needed. It was liquid, and they took it to the coin shop and turned the silver and gold into bail money. So $10,000 cash, I probably won't see it back, because it'll probably go towards that restitution back here or whatever fines or so. It's gone, but it's okay, because it's just dirt, colored dirt, fancy dirt. It all came from the dirt. It all goes back to the dirt, just like myself. So much love, guys. I'm gonna let you go. I do appreciate it. We're not doing anything stupid like that, Isaac. That's not the kind of donation I want to hear from scam artists. You're a scam artist. Take your scam somewhere else. People like you are the problem, scamming people. Then cops go out and scam people too. So you're no different than some of these cops. Just so you know, Isaac, you remind me of the same thing, extorting people, lies, and a bunch of bull nonsense. So go take it somewhere else. Was that Isaac? Okay, guys. All right. Always agape. Much love. I am Apocalypse. It's what I said when they arrested me. I guess I have an alias now. That's a charge. Okay. Sergeant can't keep her pants on there. So much love.